Hey there, friends! Welcome back to Bite-Size Lessons. Today we will be reading a very exciting story written by Robert L. Stanfield and published by Nightingale Books, Sheraton House, Castle Park, Cambridge, England. Deep in the forest, there's a small, cozy cottage where a peculiar porcupine named Philip lives. He has lived here for many years and knows everyone in the forest. Philip loves to work in his garden. He grows the biggest, sweetest, and juiciest watermelons you've ever seen. Philip also loves to go on hiking trips with his best friend, Samuel Skunk, which they used to do every Saturday. But little did Philip know that this Saturday would be one he would never forget. Saturday morning started out just like every other Saturday. Philip woke up early, before the sun came up, washed up, got dressed, and had breakfast. When Philip was finished eating breakfast, he grabbed the bag he had packed the night before and headed out the door on his way to Samuel's house. Philip was passing by a big oak tree when he heard someone say, "Good morning." Philip looked up and said, "Good morning, Hooty Owl. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" "Yes, it is a very beautiful day," said Hooty while yawning as he closed his eyes. "Goodbye, Hooty," said Philip. As Philip was walking along, he heard a very deep voice say, "Are you on your way to Samuel's house?" "Is that you, Berry Bear?" asked Philip. "The one and only," said Berry as he let out a big growl. "I'm so hungry." "Berry, you're always hungry. I have a watermelon from my garden. Would you like some?" asked Philip. "Yes, please," said Berry. They sat on a log, shared the watermelon, and saw who could spit the seeds the furthest. After they were finished eating, Philip said, "That was fun, but I have to go now. Goodbye, Berry." "Goodbye. Thank you for the watermelon," said Berry. Now, it was time for Philip to cross the river because Samuel lived on the other side. As Philip started in, he heard someone say, "Come on in. The water's fine." It was Oliver Otter, out for his morning swim. "Hello, Oliver. I can't stop for a swim now. I'm on my way to Samuel's house," Philip explained. "Oh yeah, it's Saturday, the day you go hiking with Samuel. Well, you better hurry, you don't want to be late," said Oliver. "Bye, Oliver. I'll see you on my way home," shouted Philip as he ran from the river onto dry land. "Bye. Have fun," Oliver shouted back. While running through the open field, Philip ran into an old friend. "Susie! Susie Squirrel, is that you?" asked Philip. "Philip Porcupine. I haven't seen you in such a long time. How have you been?" Susie asked. "I'm fine, thank you. It's very good to see you again, but I'm in a hurry right now," Philip explained. "Me too. I was on my way home to have tea with my grandma," Susie said. "You have to come and visit me sometime. I live just over the hill in the small tree next to the pond," said Susie. "Yes, I'll visit you when I get back from my trip," said Philip. "I'll see you soon. Bye, Philip," Susie giggled. "Bye, Susie," Philip chuckled. Meanwhile, Samuel decided to clean his attic while waiting for his friend to arrive. While cleaning, he came across a large, dusty old trunk that belonged to his great-grandfather Simon, a famous world traveler. Curious about what was inside the trunk, Samuel tried to open it, but it was locked, so he quickly ran downstairs to get a hammer and chisel to break the lock. After getting the hammer and chisel, he quickly ran back up to the attic to open the trunk. When Samuel looked inside, he saw many pictures and small trinkets from his great-grandfather's many travels. Samuel sat there on the floor and looked at every one of them with much enjoyment. But when he came to the bottom of the trunk, he found a very old piece of paper. Samuel unfolded the piece of paper very carefully on the attic floor, and to his surprise, it was a map of the forest. A treasure map! Just then, Samuel heard the doorbell ring. It was Philip. "Coming!" shouted Samuel with excitement. He ran downstairs and opened the door for his friend. "Good morning, Samuel. Are you ready to go?" said Philip. "Come in and sit down. I have something to show you," said Samuel. As the two sat down, Samuel told Philip about the treasure map he had found in the attic and asked him if he wanted to try and find the treasure. Philip was filled with excitement and agreed to go on the treasure hunt with his friend. "Before we go, we should pack some tools for digging," said Samuel. "I have some in the basement." After they packed their tools, they were on their way. "Philip, you be the navigator. Here's the map," said Samuel. "Okay." "The map says we should start at the Blue River. Let's go," said Philip. Both, with treasure on their minds, started toward the river a few miles south of Samuel's house. A little while later, they made it to the edge of the Blue River. "What does the map say now?" asked Samuel. "We have to go down the river 10 miles where the river divides," said Philip. They started to inflate the raft Philip had in his bag. Once the raft was inflated, they headed down the river. They had a snack while floating downriver and talked about what kind of treasure they might find. After floating for some time, they were finally at the point where the river divided. "Which way do we go now?" asked Samuel. "To the right, until we see the big white rock at the river's bend," explained Philip. They paddled to the right, and there it was, the big white rock quickly approaching. Philip and Samuel paddled with all they had to the edge of the river so they could get out. "We made it!" said Samuel with a sound of relief in his voice. Now back on land, they took another look at the map and read it. "Ye shall walk 200 paces east to the small cave. Ye shall enter at your own risk. This is where your adventure begins. But remember, those that enter might not return." "I don't know about this, Samuel. It sounds dangerous. Someone might get hurt," said Philip. "Where's your sense of adventure? Remember the treasure? We'll be rich!" exclaimed Samuel. "You're right, let's go find our treasure!" shouted Philip. They made it to the cave. It was completely covered with overgrown grass and bushes. Samuel took out his knife and cut through the grass and bushes until they could see the entrance. Samuel entered first. Philip hesitated, then he followed Samuel in. "Wow, it's really dark in here. I'll light the lantern," said Philip. When he did, they noticed writings on the wall which read, "Beware, go back while there's still a chance, but if you must proceed, take this bit of advice, many booby traps await to seal your doom." After reading this, they proceeded to enter the dark, abandoned cave, unsure of what awaited them inside. As they walked through the thick cobwebs that covered the cave, they noticed the smell of ammonia in the air. Samuel turned to Philip and whispered, "We have to be very quiet now." "Why?" Philip replied in an echoing voice. Just then, a swarm of bats flew their way with an ear-piercing screech. "Duck!" yelled Samuel. They both hit the ground and covered their faces in fear. It was over in a few seconds, but for Philip and Samuel, it seemed like forever. When the ordeal was over, they slowly got up, dusted themselves off, and continued their quest for treasure. Soon, they came to a point where the cave split in 3 directions. They quickly pulled out their map. There was a riddle on the map that read, "So, landlubber, you've made it this far. The only way to find the direction you should continue, ye must solve this riddle. Take a gander at the inscriptions above the 3 caves before ye, and choose the one that answers this riddle. If each of these paths leads to the same location, which one will get ye there more quickly? The first S-shaped path, the second straight-lined path, or the third zigzagged path? Choose wisely, your life depends on it." Philip and Samuel put their heads together. "But of course," said Philip, "the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. It's the second cave." "Brilliant, let's go," said Samuel. They entered the second cave and continued their quest. As they entered the cave, they were in awe of the inscriptions and paintings that covered the walls. While looking at the great battles shown in these paintings, one caught their eye. It was a painting of an older man who looked very worn and tired. Beside the painting was a short poem. "Life out at sea has always been the life for me. The fresh sea air filled me lungs, the freedom I felt sailing across the ocean when I was young. My beauty of a ship that won many battles, that made me rich and the envy of every man. Now, I must leave the sea, me first love to hide me treasure on land." After reading this, Philip and Samuel knew they were getting close to what they were looking for. Continuing through the cave, they came upon a dead end. Confused by this, Philip looked at the map. "That's funny. There's no dead end on the map," said Philip. Samuel looked around the cave for a way out and noticed 2 large sacks, one filled with feathers and the other one filled with stones. Written on the wall directly above the 2 sacks was another riddle that said, "So ye has made it this far, landlubber. To proceed onward, ye must choose the right sack to answer me question, because if ye chooses incorrectly, ye will be meeting your maker." "Now tell me, landlubber, in the first sack lie 20 pounds of feathers, And in the second sack lie 15 pounds of stones. Move the sack that you believe weighs more. Choose wisely. Your life depends on it. Move the stones. The stones are heavier than the feathers, said Philip. Wait, Philip. Wait, it's a trick question, said Samuel. Look at the pounds of the two sacks, not what's inside. You're right, Samuel. 20 pounds is heavier than 15 pounds no matter what it is, said Philip. Let's move the feathers, said Samuel. They moved the sack that contained the feathers, and as soon as they did, the wall began to move, revealing an opening. Philip and Samuel walked through the opening to continue their journey. They walked for hours, it seemed, until they came to a river. Unsure of where to go from here, they looked at the map. When ye reach the river, ye must go in the direction of the spawning salmon. Salmon always travel upstream to spawn, said Philip. They traveled upstream until they came to a waterfall. Looking at the map, Philip read, When ye reach the waterfall that hides me riches, ye have found me. Knowing that they were just steps away from the treasure, Philip and Samuel ran through the waterfall. When they got to the other side, there was a treasure chest and the skeleton of a pirate. They had found it. Without hesitation, they opened the chest. It was filled with precious gold and silver. This chest is too heavy for us to carry back home, said Samuel. You're right. We'll just have to empty our bags and fill them with the gold and silver. Then we'll leave the rest of it and the map here with the pirate, said Philip. They filled their bags up and placed the map in the chest with the rest of the treasure and started back home from a Saturday they will never forget. The end. Thank you for going on this adventure with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time, friends.